Obliterate any enemy that comes before me. Noir to all the motherfuckers out there that adore me. All over the place, you can't ignore me. Abhor me and deplore me. I'm an open book, baby, come and explore me. Content for days, a real page turner. Bars upon bars, bitch, a real mic burner.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Nightmare on Sedgwick Avenue. This is your host, 7 Octoberz. The intro track you just heard is called Ascension by a dope female MC, Indigo Phoenix. I'm actually going to be interviewing her soon as well, so shout out to her. But before we get into today's interview, I want to give a brief just like about the person that I'm going to be interviewing, a little bit like of a bio, so you can get to know who he is, and then obviously he'll introduce himself as well. So today I have a dope guest. His name is Gary, also known as Spectral Youth on social media. I found him through Instagram. I love a lot of like horror merch and clothing, and I came across his page. I can't remember exactly how. I think it might have been like a giveaway, and we'll get into that in a second. But he's the owner of Spectral Youth. I guess I'll consider like a horror clothing and accessories business that he owns. And it's just got a lot of like spooky vibes. He's from the 505, New Mexico, so we'll get into that. But without further ado, I'll go ahead and bring him on the screen. Again, this is Gary, aka Spectral Youth. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
Good. Thank you again for sitting here with me, and so we can talk a little bit about you and shine some light on what you do, especially, right now with everything that's going on with the pandemic. Anything I can do to help out small businesses, I want to do it. So thank you again.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to do some talking,
Yeah, for real. Yeah. So just a little bit, like the first question I always ask is like, obviously I introduced you a little bit, but obviously who better to introduce than yourself, because you know yourself better than anyone else. So if you can tell us a little bit more about you and how the whole Spectral Youth got started and everything.
Sure. So my name is Gary. I've been doing the Spectral Youth thing as a brand for about 3 years now. I've been going heavy with the online portion for about a year now.
Okay.
And yeah, so I love horror movies. I want to spread that love. I want to meet people in the community and make something cool for them.
Yeah.
Make something for these movies that we all love. And there isn't a lot of merch out there for certain ones.
That's
true. I just want people to use my skills as a graphic designer. I've been graphic designing for about 10 years now.
Okay.
Use my skills to help our community make some cool stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's cool. And I was gonna ask you that about like who does the designs, but that's pretty dope that you've been doing it for like 10 years. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I love the art and everything of your clothing. It's really cool.
Well, thank you. Everything I design myself. I design everything myself. Like I've said, I've been a graphic designer for probably a little bit over 10 years now.
Okay.
And yeah, I've done it professionally. I've done it freelance. I've done it for a lot of different things, but now I'm just using it to focus towards my art.
That's pretty cool. How did the names like Spectral Youth, like what's the significance of that name?
So, I mean, I've been using it for a good while now, probably even before the actual brand started. But it's just, it's spectral, of course, means ghost youth, kind of like a nostalgia for things that are spooky,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it means to me. But it's just it's stuck with me,
Yeah.
I've been using it for a long time, and I like it,
Yeah, it's a cool name.
There's no change, so yeah, I think it stands out. I think it's a little bit less obvious,
Yeah, exactly. And what inspired you to like start the business, like the clothing brand and everything? Like, was there something that you were like doing your art, like graphic designing? You were like, you know what, I can do something more productive, or what sparked that?
So before I actually started my brand, I've have friends that have done it with other things, not necessarily horror brands, but different things. One of my big inspiration is my buddy Mike. He runs a brand out here called Metal the Brand.
Okay.
And he does t-shirts and stuff. And he kind of started from where I've started from too, the whole band thing, and I've been involved in the music scene out here. I've been
Okay.
in a couple bands, and from that you learn to make merch, different things, flyers, all
Yeah.
that, and I just kind of took those skills and kind of transferred them over to doing my own thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
What did you play like a specific instrument or were you like a vocalist in bands?
I'm a vocalist, yeah. So I've been doing vocals. I have a band out here called Spring Verdicts.
Okay.
The pandemic's kind of definitely put a little bit of a speed
Yeah,
bump on everything, but once we get back to normal, I'll be doing that again, of
that's pretty
course.
cool.
Hmm.
What genre is it, like metal or rock?
It's a hardcore band, so like
Okay.
punk rock.
Okay.
Everything I do is pretty has a lot of spooky vibes to
Yeah,
it.
that's pretty
That's
dope.
that's what
I'll have
I
to
like.
check it out.
So there's definitely that. And 1 second.
Okay,
Sorry
no
about
worries.
that. My
All right.
alarm there. Um, yeah. So it has a lot of spooky vibes to it.
Mhm.
Fast, just angry, hardcore punk rock music.
Okay, that's dope. And obviously, you stay in New Mexico. What part of New Mexico is it? Albuquerque or?
Albuquerque, uh-huh.
Oh, how is it over there? Like as far as like your business? Because obviously most of it you said it's online, but before the whole pandemic, like how has your like city embraced your business?
So it's been cool. There's definitely a community for it out here. There's not a lot of events, but that was
Mhm.
one thing that I was trying to push for
Mhm.
before we got locked down. Is I was working with a buddy of mine named Josh, and he runs a small company called Darkroom Horror,
Okay.
and he does a lot of movies out here. He shows films and stuff. And yeah, so before I was doing a lot of vending, a lot of trying to be involved with events, just
Yeah.
doing different things to keep that community alive, to
Yeah.
give the horror fans out here something to go out to be excited about. Hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I've been wanting to go. I might do a road trip over there soon because I've been wanting
Sure,
to check out New Mexico. It's really dope out there from like the pictures I've seen.
definitely. Yeah,
Um,
it's beautiful here, and
yeah,
there's a lot of cool stuff out here.
cool.
Hmm.
How's it been with the pandemic? Is it like stuff still like shut down or some of it is still like open?
Some of it's still going. We I did do a little event in October, which was all outside. We were showing movies outside. That
Okay.
was cool. It hasn't been too bad out here. The numbers have been going down, going
Yeah,
down. Um, so yeah, but I mean, pandemic life. What are you gonna do?
I know, right? You just have to like
Yeah,
pivot and find some other creative ways, right?
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
And like you said, you do a lot for like the horror community. You do like dope as like giveaways. I think that's how I found you. Here I'll put like a slide of one like the one I won. It was like the
Yeah,
Hellraiser.
that was one of the first ones that I did. And
Yeah,
yeah, so now we're doing I do every Thursday. I try to give away something.
yeah,
I wanna make a page that people are excited to come to every Thursday. That
yeah,
there's I'm not just trying to sell something to you guys. I'm trying to hook y'all up. I'm trying to
yeah.
do something cool.
Yeah, I like that because yeah, you also like it also gets people to connect too, and not just to you, but even your followers. Like you get them to interact with each other and shit like that. So it's pretty cool that you do
Yeah,
that.
sure. There's a lot of
Um,
people that comment on there. They'll tag their friend. And they'll be like, "Hey, man, you never seen this movie before?"
yeah,
And yeah. I've been following a lot of pages. Before I started my stuff people like Studio House and Rocking Cotton, and they post up stuff, and sometimes I wouldn't even know what it was.
yeah,
And it's cool. Like I like that because then I'd be like, oh, I need to check out this movie, and
yeah,
I a lot of movies I've come across that way.
yeah. That's
So I
true.
think that I like being able to highlight different films that I like. So maybe you haven't seen that movie, but maybe you'll want to go check it out after I posted it.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like the younger generation. Like sometimes I'll talk about movies and I assume people have watched it, but you're right. Like especially the younger generation, like they didn't really grow up in the stuff that we watched. So it's kind of cool to like introduce people to new movies. Um,
Sure, and I feel like there's a little taboo. Oh, you haven't seen like everything. You haven't seen that. Oh,
hmm
what's holding you back?
yeah,
But I like that. I haven't seen everything. And I don't
yeah,
want to see everything. I want there to be stuff out there that I haven't seen, so I can go
exactly.
see it for the first time and be excited about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I like, by the way, I like your shirt. Like that's one of my favorite, like Stephen King.
Yeah,
Like the whole, yeah, even They
yeah,
Live. That's like the whole John
yeah.
Carpenter shit. Yeah, that's fucking dope.
It's at Studio House. Shout out to my homie Cody.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
He's
they
been
have dope
he's
shit
been
too.
really.
They have dope stuff
Mhm.
there too. Um, and to talk about like a little bit of horror too. Like how did you fall in love with the genre? Like what made you fall in love with it? Was like a specific movie, or did somebody introduce you to it?
You know, I think the thing that really made me love horror is for first half of my life, I wouldn't even watch it because I'd be so scared. I'd be so terrified of everything.
Yeah.
Like when I was younger, man, I remember I watched Signs when I was like 13 and it freaked me out. Like got older, as I got older, I'd get a little bit braver, get a little
Mhm.
bit braver, and now it's become kind of like it kind of became this thing that I had to conquer,
Yeah.
and then you learn about the other things, you learn about soundtrack scores and the way
Mhm.
that things are shot and just the whole art of it, and as an artist, that's for me, there's nothing like it. It's this whole combination of different aspects, you know, your
Yeah.
acting and the way that creatures are made or these gore effects are made, and all this different artistic aspects go into it to create this one thing. And I think it just really inspires me.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Yeah, it's a little bit for everybody. Like if you're not like into the gore, you can be into like if you want to be a director, like you said how it's shot. So it's really cool. And then it makes you also like face your fears because in this case it kind of you were scared and then now you watch these movies. So that's pretty cool. Um,
Sure, sure. Mhm.
what's like your top five? I know it's kind of hard, but like top five like right now, what would they be?
Top five. Well, I got my top three. My top three is my go-to list that I go to every
Yeah.
time someone asks me. And my number one on the list is Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. I
Yeah.
love that movie so much. Just everything that I just talked about, it has all of that in spades. I love it.
Yeah.
The other one is Suspiria.
I love that
Suspiria
movie.
is a big one for me. I
Yeah.
love giallos, even though it's more, it's more artistic than a regular giallo.
Yeah.
But that really got me into the whole world of Italian horror.
Yeah.
And then third one is Videodrome. So
Oh
I'm a big
yeah.
I'm a big Cronenberg guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really enjoy a lot of his stuff. Videodrome is my top one for sure, but his other stuff like Scanners is cool. The Fly, of course.
Yeah. David Cronenberg.
Summer
Yeah. He's
Shivers.
done.
Cronenberg's a man. And yeah, another one, probably my fourth spot would probably be Midsommar. I
Okay.
Whenever we went and saw that movie, man, it was so good,
Yeah.
and just the the whole everything about it is beautiful. It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
Um, I really love movies that make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Their goal is to make you just feel uneasy and just carry that with you for a while.
Yeah. I
And
agree.
both of Ari Aster's films did that.
I know. Yeah. Hereditary for me did that shit. Like, honestly, nothing spooks me. But like you said, Ari Aster has like I don't know, something that like it haunts you after you're done watching the film. You still like feel like it's lingering there.
Yeah, yeah. Even his short films before that have that to it.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Cronenberg, as in they kind of just became horror filmmakers by proxy, and
Mhm.
they have more of an intent than just making a horror movie. They have something to say, and I
Exactly.
really I really like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
would say
agree.
my fifth would be Reanimator. I
Okay.
love Reanimator. It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's dope.
Hmm.
Yeah, I actually I remember I hadn't seen it because everybody would it's like a cult classic, Reanimator, based like on
Hmm.
H.P. Lovecraft and all that stuff. But I was like I had never seen it. I just saw like there was a whole fan base for it, and then I finally watched it, and it's something different. It's pretty dope though, um,
I
and it's
My
hilarious
mom
too.
actually watched it for the first time
Yeah,
uh, about a week ago, and
yeah,
man, she really liked it. She's not really a horror. She's not really into that stuff. But
Yeah,
man, she had fun. She's laughing, screaming the whole time.
yeah,
It's a wild ride.
it is.
Hmm.
um, so yeah, good, dope list. That's a good list. What are
What
what
are
are
some of your favorites?
mine? Man, mine's like changing all the time, but like kind of like
Yeah.
you said, I have a go-to.
Hmm.
My go-to is like an American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Like the soundtrack, the special effects, like that's like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Second one would be like Fright Night, the original, the 80s version, because I grew up watching
Hmm.
that as a kid, and that's
Hmm.
also like the effects are crazy on there. Um, and then third would be what's the third one? Hellraiser. I just
Oh
love the
yeah.
whole like series and like what it's based of. Like Clive Barker created like a dope universe for that.
Clive Barker's the man. Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm like obsessed with like like the whole like the box and everything, like Limmerchon's box and all that stuff. So that's dope. Fourth would be probably Silence of the Lambs. Like I'm obsessed with that too, with the whole series. Like
Oh yeah.
Clarice and Will Graham, even the TV show. Um,
So,
and then fifth, I would say probably Scream. Like I love Wes
mhm.
Craven.
I love
Um,
Wes Craven too.
yeah,
All his movies are so good.
exactly. Yeah. And then, man, if I could add another one, it would be like They Live, like the one you have on your
Yeah.
T-shirt. I love that film. Even though it's not like really horror, it's like sci-fi horror, I guess you can
Sure.
say. But
Sure.
it's so
Yeah.
relevant to like the society we live in today. So it's crazy.
Anything that has Roddy Piper and I'm all in.
Yeah. Yeah, same here.
Hmm.
uh, what are some of your like favorite like horror directors or writers? Do you have any?
Definitely Dario Argento. I love his
Yeah.
stuff back from Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Opera, Deep Red. All his films are really good. It really
Yeah.
got me into the whole giallo subgenre.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely Carpenter,
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
course. You know, it goes without saying. He's like a god.
Exactly. Yeah, I
All his
agree.
stuff yeah, all his stuff is so good.
Yeah.
Craven, of course, too. Craven's really good.
Yeah.
Hmm. Like I said, my favorite movie is Nightmare on Elm Street. So,
Yep. Yep. Um, and what are like two things about yourself that people might not know that you would like to share?
so one thing I'm a really big wrestling fan. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So that's a big thing. Yeah, if it wasn't horror movies, it'd be wrestling. You know,
Yeah.
I'd probably spend more time every week watching wrestling than I do horror movies.
Yeah. Would you ever?
Yeah,
That'd be cool if you like blended the two, though. That'd be pretty cool. Like,
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
that'd be
Hmm.
pretty dope.
I'd love to. Yeah, whenever I eventually get to making They Live, I'll definitely have to do something cool with that. You know,
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
something more wrestling inspired. So,
Yeah. Rest in peace to Roddy Piper. Yeah, he was dope. And
hmm
what would you say has been like your greatest accomplishment so far?
um, you know, I think just building my Instagram as far as it goes with Spectral Youth, just
Hmm.
where I've gotten as far as that goes. You
Yeah.
know, I just passed 5,000 followers, so for
Wow.
me, like that's a pretty big milestone for me.
Yeah.
Um, I know I see all these other pages. Oh, they got 20,000, 10,000. You know, but I'll
That's
get
still
there.
a lot.
You know,
Yeah.
gotta have that faith. You know, and
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, just being able to make these relationships with these brands that I've always been more of a fan of. You know,
Hmm.
I've come close. I've gotten close to Tim over at Tapes from the Crypts, and you
Okay.
know I've had my eye on what he's been doing for a long time. And
Yeah.
Cody too. Cody from Studio House has been nothing but awesome. You know, I consider him one of my friends now,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because I've just been an admirer of his work since
Yeah.
since way before I started doing this. So
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that you guys like connect and stuff. Because I never would have thought about it that way. I would think like, some people think it's like competition between like the different clothing brands because there's so many of them on social media.
mhm.
Like Cavity Colors is like one of the most like popular ones that I came across. I remember when I was like searching stuff and like London 88, like all the horror conventions. That's how I started like seeing all these different ones. So it's kind of cool
Bright
that you
Rags and whatnot.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool that you connected with other owners of brands and you guys are able to like, form friendships. So that's pretty cool.
Sure, sure. It's cool. Like there is definitely that aspects of competition,
Hmm.
but I think that that really helps you stay motivated, helps you, you see these other people
Yeah,
dropping cool stuff and it's just like, man, I wanna up my game even more, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So it's cool in that aspect, but also it's good to have good friends. It's good to have friends with those guys because there's always opportunities for collabs, different things, and they're just
yeah.
people doing the same thing you're doing, trying to get by, trying to make some cool stuff for the community.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you get like mentorship too, because I'm pretty sure some other people have been doing it longer too, so they probably have
Oh yeah,
tips and stuff
I
like
go
that.
I go to these guys for a lot of questions. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you say you hit 5K. Obviously, congrats on that.
thank you
Um,
so much.
how long have you had the Instagram? Is it you said a year when did you
So
start it?
I've had the Instagram for probably about 2 years, but I've really been pushing it
Uh huh.
since about July of last year.
Okay.
July of last year is when I really hit the ground running
Okay.
110% because of the pandemic.
Yeah, that's really good
Mhm.
though for like 2 years to have like 5K. Like you said, for some people it might not mean anything, but to me, like me seeing something like that, like someone like you do that, that's pretty cool, and
Yeah, thank you.
inspiring.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been work, but it's been fun. It's
Yeah,
been fun, and every job that I do, I see a little bit more, a little bit more love for it. So,
yeah, that's cool, man.
you
Yeah,
know.
keep doing it, man. And where do you see like your business going, like in the next 5 years? Do you like look at that much like ahead, or you're just like going with the flow?
So I mean, for the next 5 years, that might be a little bit far ahead, but I really have my minds towards the end of the pandemic and what I want to do after that.
Mhm.
So I really have a mindset for that. I really want to do a lot more local stuff. I want to build that community.
Yeah.
I know we have people out here. I know it's quiet out here. But I know there's a big, big community for odd stuff out here.
Yeah.
so, so
Yeah.
yeah, I want to be able to do more stuff like that. Be able to show more movies here, do more events here, link up with some of the other artists and vendors out here,
Yeah.
and that's one thing that I'm really have my mind set on. And other than that, just keep at the same pace that I am right now. You know, I
Okay,
think
cool.
I found a pretty good steady pace of what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and I just want to be able to stay on that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, that'd be cool if you guys can throw like drive-ins, because that's what I've been wanting to do too. Before the pandemic, I had thrown a couple like inside movie screenings, which is kind of cool.
Sure.
But we'll see, right? So hopefully you guys can do something like that. That'd be really cool.
The
Um,
week that we went on lockdown, I had set up at a Tractor Brewery. It's a local brewery here.
okay.
We had a movie event set up, and man, I flyered for this thing. I
Uh-huh.
did a lot of promotion for this thing. Tried to get as many people as I could.
Yeah.
Same week, closed. Everything's shut down.
Oh man.
Everything's canceled. And
Damn.
man, that broke my heart. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely excited to get back to doing stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And
Mhm.
because obviously you do the designs for your clothing. What inspires it, and like how do you choose like what movie to do next?
So I mean, usually I try to plan out maybe 2, 3 drops in advance, but just really I try to keep it older. I'm not trying to necessarily drop movies that came out last year.
Mhm.
I'm trying to keep it to the 70s, 80s, maybe a little bit in the 90s, but
Okay.
definitely keep it old school.
Yeah.
But yeah, I big inspiration is just definitely making shirts for bands back in the day. I still like to do that, but it's a little bit quieter now as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Um, but just that art style, I like the vintage look. I try to put a lot of distress on all of my designs, so it kind
Yeah.
of looks worn, but it also makes it a little bit more comfortable to wear. You don't want a shirt with a lot of ink on it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's
mhm.
pretty cool. Like the little tie dye ones. I think it was like the Gremlins one was really cool. Um,
Yeah,
the
thank you.
design. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Hmm.
And what designs do you currently have out? Like if you want to like shout out any stuff that you have going
So
on right now.
right now I have the thing drop. I'm running that until the 14th of February.
Okay.
So that one's what I'm running with right now. Um, everything everything is either timed,
Mhm.
so you can only get it a certain window,
Okay.
or it's limited. So the last two tie dyes that I did were limited to 30,
Okay.
and they all last one was a TerraVision tie dye. That
Mhm.
one sold out in about 3 hours.
Oh
So
wow.
a lot of this stuff I can't really necessarily promote it because it's gone, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That-
I'm doing drops. I have pretty much every other week I'm doing a new thing.
okay,
Hmm.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, well, that's good that
Hmm.
they go fast. I mean, that's you're doing something right. So that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
At least
yeah. And
you
that's
don't end up with anything, right?
yeah, and I don't have a lot of stock on hands. I try
Yeah.
to keep some just so I have something so I can do events with, I can vend with, but
Mhm.
not too much stock on hands. And yeah, it's good. I'm lucky that I'm able to put out stuff quickly
Mhm.
because it keeps people's interest. You know, it keeps you
Yeah.
excited. Oh, what's he gonna do next? You know.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, and then you had the cool the drop that you had for Valentine's Day. That one was pretty cool. Like I'm going broke
Yeah.
buying all this stuff, but I would have bought that one. But that one was pretty cool.
Well, thank you for picking up. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no
And yeah,
problem.
yeah, that one was cool. That was with Tim from Tapes from the Crypt. That was a collab that we did, and he just sent me some pics today. They came out really nice. They're nice and bright.
Yeah.
Um, shipping out this week, so
Okay,
that
nice.
was really cool.
Yeah, and what so kind of moving back to like the horror and everything, like obviously it's like a genre we're both in. Um, besides movies and stuff like that, is there any like TV shows that you have that you recommend and or that like stand out to you?
TV shows. One that I really loved was The Haunting of Hill House. That
Yeah,
one was that was top tier as far as just movies, TVs, and
I
TV
agree.
shows. That was one of my favorites, and unfortunately, I didn't like Bly Manor as much.
Yeah,
It
me either. I
didn't
was kind of
really have.
disappointed.
It definitely had its own vibe going on. You know, it has its own thing, but
Yeah,
I felt like Haunting of Hill House was just a masterpiece, man. It was perfect,
I
perfect.
agree. Yeah, it was
Mhm.
like the storytelling, like each episode. I need to do an episode on that one, but yeah, maybe I'll have you on. We could discuss it because I love that show. It was like really great. Like
Definitely,
even
I'll have to give it a rewatch.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Hmm.
because even the twin episode, because I'm a twin. I have another twin, and we're not identical, but we're fraternal. But that episode, I think it's like the third episode. I can't remember where they're like, they feel what the other one's feeling, and when she dies, like he feels it. That shit like had me crying, and it's a horror show, so it's
It's a
crazy.
whole. I don't want to give any spoilers, but that last episode just guts you, man.
Yeah.
Just gets you right in the feels, you know.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, but yeah, that's a dope show. Any other ones, or is that the main one that stands out to you right now?
Just offhand, that's the main one. I was enjoying Marianne. I only got about halfway through it. I believe that's what it's called on Netflix. Um,
Okay. How is that? I haven't seen it. I've been seeing like different posts about it. Is it good?
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty. The first few episodes are pretty scary. Yeah, I was enjoying it. It's good stuff.
What's the premise of
Other than
the
that,
show?
it's like this girl's going back to their old town, and it's paranormal. There's a ghost,
Okay.
and yeah, there's I can't tell you too much,
Yeah.
but it's good. It's
Okay,
good.
cool.
It's worth checking out for sure. It's only
Okay.
about 10 episodes, I believe,
Okay.
but
I have to check it out then.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Um,
go
I
ahead.
just got the whole complete series of the old Twilight Zone
Oh,
for
nice.
Christmas. So yeah, yeah, I love that stuff. I love old stuff like the Munsters.
Yeah,
Definitely, my dad's got me into a lot of that older stuff. So
that's pretty cool. How many seasons is the Twilight Zone?
oof, well, I could tell you right here. Check it out. Got it's this guy right here.
Oh wow.
It's about that thick, so
You
I
can binge that
did
for like the
106 episodes. So
Oh wow. Well, at
hmm
least you can binge that while the pandemic's still going on in the meantime.
yeah, definitely,
Uh,
definitely.
and what's like some of your favorite like horror villains?
Some horror villains. Hmm. of course, Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
Freddy's a
Yeah.
man. I love how creative they're allowed to be with the whole Nightmare on Elm Street series. You
Yeah.
know, I love the whole Nightmare 4 with the pizza gag.
Yeah.
And the whole TV deal and Dream Warriors with her getting sucked up
Yeah.
in the TV. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I love stuff like that. I love being able to, a little bit of magic going on.
Yeah.
Candyman's one of my favorites too. I love
Okay.
Candyman.
Yeah, he's
Uh-huh.
badass.
Mm-hmm.
What about like Final Girls? Do you have any like Final Girls that you like?
Final Girls. Hmm. I would say yeah, Nancy's up there for sure.
Okay.
Um, she's one of my favorites. A lot of the girls that are in the Friday the 13th
Oh yeah.
series. There's a lot of standouts for sure.
Yeah.
Um, two is one of my favorite. Part two is one of my favorites.
Okay. Yeah. I love Tina from I forget I think part 7.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
psych she has like psychokinesis or whatever. Um.
Yeah, sure. The whole
Yeah.
Carrie versus Jason deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's pretty awesome. Hmm.
That's cool. And what is there any like specific? I always kind of like asking this one just to see what people would create. Like if you could create like your own like horror movie and stuff like that. You know how Wes Craven came up with like the survival rules and everything. Like what rule would you create that hasn't been created yet?
What world would I create?
What kind of like survival rule, like to like survive a horror movie, would you create? Kind of, you know how Randy did it in Scream, where he's like, "Don't go, don't say I'll be back." Like, what would you do? What would you create? What kind of rule
That's
to
a good
survive a
one.
film?
Something like don't go to sleep, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's hard.
yeah.
Man, you put me on the spot for
I know,
that one.
I know that's a tough one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe something like maybe you can't get wet. You
Yeah,
can't. I don't know, just thinking off my head.
yeah,
What would be hard is you
yeah.
can't. I don't know if I can say this on this show, but you can't smoke weed.
Oh my God, he can't be impaired.
Smoke the reefer, you're getting in trouble. That's a big one
That's
for me.
actually a good one. Yeah, it's like don't either drink alcohol or don't do drugs.
But
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, and do you believe in like in the supernatural? Have you had any experiences that you can share or anything?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I used to have a lot when I was little. I
Yeah.
used to have a lot, and a lot of the times, I don't know if it was sleep paralysis. It usually was around bedtime, you
Mhm.
know, lucid dreaming or whatever. But
Mhm.
definitely when I was little, I experienced a lot of that. I remember one time sleeping on my bed and looking out. I woke up in the middle of the night. I looked out in the hallway, and there's this little girl standing there,
Oh
and
wow.
she had this over, you know, she had this t-shirt on. It was too big for her. You
Mhm.
could see her legs underneath, and her legs were super, super skinny and gray and veiny.
Oh wow.
Oh man, and that image, the thing about that experience is I
Mhm.
remember my dog being in my bed with me,
Mhm.
and my dog didn't. She never got in my bed with me. But I remember looking up, and my dog was laying there, and she was scared. She was seeing the same thing I was seeing.
Oh shit.
Oh man, yeah, and it vanished. It just went away. I
Yeah.
went back to bed, I guess. I don't remember what happened after that, but
Oh
I
wow.
vividly remember my dog seeing what I was
Yeah.
seeing. And
That's
so
crazy.
I used to have a lot of experiences like that when I was little.
Oh
And
wow. Did you ever like do research to see like if anybody like had passed away in that house or anything like that, or you just never you were too young?
no, nothing like that. Nothing like that. No, but I wouldn't be surprised to be honest with you.
Mhm.
We're in Albuquerque is a pretty rough town.
Mhm.
There's a lot of crime going on. There's a lot of violence going on in this town. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's crazy. Wow. And like you never had any like experience like that like now as like an adult or you haven't really like experienced anything like that recently?
You know, I'd be up for it, but
Yeah.
you gotta look out into something like that, I guess. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
lucky, but
Yeah.
I can't say I have. Not really. Not
Yeah.
that I'm older now.
Yeah. Maybe because you were a kid, because you know how they say like sometimes like kids are like more susceptible to those things to be able to
Yeah,
see,
sure. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Uh,
Luckily, watch tonight. I'm gonna have some lucid dreams
and
someday. But
and
yeah. Luckily, nothing too crazy as far as that goes for
yeah.
me right now.
Yeah.
lately.
And how did, as far as like lucid dreaming, like is that something like you practice, or just something that's happened? Because I always thought I found that interesting, like how people can control their dreams and stuff like that.
Just something that happens, you know.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore,
Yeah.
but yeah, but it's something that when I was little I was able to do, I guess.
Yeah. That's pretty
Hmm.
cool. Um.
A lot
and be-
more sleep paralysis than lucid dreaming for sure.
oh yeah, that's scary. I heard it's like a really like terrifying experience.
Oh yeah, yeah. I hope I don't have that ever again. But I
Yeah.
remember having it a lot when I was little, and
Yeah.
yeah, man, yeah, it's real scary. You can't move, you can't do nothing, and it's just whatever is the scary thing in your room with you is just moving closer, closer, real slowly.
Yeah.
So,
And it's
uh-huh,
crazy because I've done research about that. Like I think there was actually a horror movie. I forgot what it was called, but
uh-huh.
how like people
I
tend to
think
see the
there's a
same. Go ahead.
I think it's called The Nightmare. That's a
I
real
think so.
popular one, and
Yeah.
it just goes over all these people and having going through sleep paralysis and seeing these demons and everything.
Yeah, like the old hag or something like that that everybody sees.
Hmm.
It's pretty creepy.
Oh yeah, the man with the hat and everything. It's like the
Mhm.
Undertaker.
Yeah, that's creepy, man. Um, well, man, before we get out of here, I usually like to ask like this last question is more like an in-depth one or like deep question. I like to say, what kind of legacy would you like to leave behind, either like on a creative level or on a personal level?
I would I want to be able to, when I'm gone, I want people to be like, man, like he really did a lot for this community, you know?
Yeah,
Not even just the horror community, but my local community, you know? I want
yeah,
to be able to get out there and help people. I want to be able to make a difference for people on a smaller level, you know?
yeah.
I feel like this whole year, the past 4 years or whatever, I
Mhm.
really learned that the government ain't out there to help you, you know?
That's
Your
true.
boss ain't out there to help you. Your employer ain't out there to help you, you know? All we
Mhm.
have is each other, you know? And
Yeah,
what I want to do is I want to get out there and do something good for other people without asking for something back, you know?
yeah,
And for people to just be like, man, like that Gary was a good guy. Like he was able to really help us, you know?
yeah, yeah. That's dope,
That's what I
man.
want.
Yeah, well,
Hmm.
you're on your way there for sure. Like I said, I when I reached out to you, I was like, I really wanted to show love to you because I see you like showing love to the community, like not like you said, not just horror, but everybody. So I appreciate you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. You
Hmm.
can follow obviously the your name right there is Spectral Youth on Instagram
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
and all social media, right? I'm guessing I don't know if you have any other like social medias like Facebook and stuff like that.
I have a Facebook. It mostly is just overflow from my Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram's pretty much it. That's the spot if you want to follow what I'm doing.
Okay, dope.
Hmm.
And then what the website if you want to say it real quick too?
Yeah, sure. So it's spectralyouth.bigcartel.com.
Perfect.
That's where I have all my drops, you know.
Okay.
And yeah, yeah. But if you go to my Instagram, there's a link tree in there and it has a lot of links to different things I'm doing. So
Cool, man. Yeah, support. And then is there any like shout outs or anybody that you want to give out before you get out of here?
sure, sure. So shout outs to my boy Mike at Metal the Brand. He does my screen printing. My boy Jay Alla and my homegirl Corey at Screen Kings out here. They
Okay.
do all my embroidery. Shout out to Studio House Designs, Tapes from the Crypt, Toxic Coffin, um, Howl on Shirts, all the homies on Instagram. And shout out to all my followers and all the people buying stuff from me and supporting me and tagging up my
Yeah.
posts and everything. I appreciate that so much. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to have the year that I had in 2020.
Yeah.
And it's because of people supporting me that I had a good year, you know?
For sure, man. Yeah, well,
Mhm.
keep doing it. Thank you again. And we'll talk soon, man.
Yo, and shout out to you for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you back, man.
Yeah, yeah. I peeped that album. It's good shit.
Thank you. Thank you,
I
man.
love that. Hispanic pride. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah, you know. All right, man. Well,
You know?
thank you again. And yeah, thank you for everything.
Thank you. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
You too. All right, everybody, man. That was Gary, aka Spectral Youth. Thank you guys for watching Ep.2, Season 3 of Nightmare on Sedgwick Avenue. You can follow me at 7 Octoberz on Instagram, YouTube channel, all social media to watch these episodes. Again, they're on my IGTV and YouTube channel. So thank you again and have a great weekend, y'all. Peace.